Net, the voice of Chester. CMPRadio.net, it's the station.
CMPRadio.net, it's the station. Listen, man, let's cultivate together. Bring us all your show ideas. Content creators, we're looking for that. Videographers, we're looking for that. You can be a part of the next great big thing that takes place right here in Chester, Pennsylvania. Let's cultivate together, man.
Stuck on 76, 95, 476, 222. You get the picture. Anyway, jump on this train.
There was a guy in Willingboro, New Jersey, P. He was running a little counterfeit operation. What he would do is he would bleach $1 bills, make them look like 100, printing images of $100 bills. He would put those printed images on top of the bleach bills. And then the marker, so you go to a store, you pay with a bill, and they rub the marker over it to see if it's counterfeit or not. The marker wasn't able to detect these. So he was getting away with it for a minute there. So Hollis Forto, 38-year-old, he was the ringleader of the group. They traveled to Virginia in December of 2019 and January of 2020 to get real money using the counterfeit currency. You got change for 100? This, that, and the other. You got real money back, and they got a fake bill. Forteau and his co-conspirators also used $100 bills to purchase items at retail stores, then return those items at another branch of the store in exchange for real money. Right. So court documents show that Forteau traveled with a printer and a laptop to make the fake cash. So he was printing it on the go. We just going to make stacks, baby. We literally are going to make stacks around here. Forteau was caught after the U.S. Secret Service found video of him on public social media account that showed him in a hotel throwing $1 bills in the air with a printer visible in the background.
Idiot.
Oh my goodness,
he definitely wouldn't have been P's weekly hero. With
that one.
I'm a go-getter. Dumbass material all the way.
What happens if the engine stops? We all freeze and die. But will it stop or will it stop? No, no!
It's the D Train with Darren, DeVoue.
Oh, I love that one. Such a tonic.
Hello, good morning. Welcome aboard, folks. Get on. Welcome to the D Train with Darren DeVoue on CMPRadio.net. It's the station, joined as always, and glad to be here, but joined behind the glass by Uncle P. He's looking great.
Yo, bro.
Not sounding too good, but he's looking great. You can't see him now, but anyway. The D Train is brought to you in part by LeBron Construction for all your home renovation and update needs. Please go to LeBronConstruction.com or go to CMPRadio.net and check out the rest of our sponsors. Oh man, P, I won a couple dollars on the literally a couple dollars on the NBA finals.
I keep telling you if you're gonna bet.
And I think of you every time I lay a bet down now.
I'm just gonna put $1 down. If you're not willing to lose it, you shouldn't be gambling.
Oh my
Shouldn't
goodness.
be. Whenever I had a great night in the casinos because I didn't care about what I lost.
That is true. And those are the yeah.
I mean, you can't
Right.
you can't go in there talking about, oh, I'm just gonna bet this.
When I went in with money to lose, like whatever. Yeah.
All money can be lost.
Okay, and all money can be regained.
Right.
Anything
So,
lost can be regained except time.
Right. So be willing to lose.
All right.
All right. Put $100 on your bet.
All right. Put some stank on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
Putting $2-3 on the bet. What the fuck is that? Are you a kid? Are you a child? What's up? What's going on?
oh
I just
man.
want some penny candy. I don't know.
Oh no. Hold on a second, Pete.
Yeah, all but it's you.
Oh. What the deuce? Am I cut off from you?
From me?
No, from the Here we go.
All right, start it over.
All right. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Oh, she's slow. Okay, here we go. Oh, but there we go. There we went. Anyway, yo.
Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna dunk it! Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna dunk it!
Well, first, you've been catching up on any of the games? It's tied 2-2.
No,
All right.
literally since last Friday.
Right.
I've been asleep by 8.
Okay. Yeah. And those games, they trying to get both coast dollars and advertisers. So yeah, they definitely.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't even know who winning.
It's tied. It's tied 2-2. It's going back and forth with Boston winning game 1,
Right.
and then they've alternated since then. Golden State won the last game. Oh man. So far, it's played out. I've liked Boston going. I loathe, as I am to admit it, I liked Boston going into the series because they've got more size. They're thicker, they're taller. So, despite all the small ball, zoom, bam, three-pointer, it's still a big man's game. So, yeah. I think Boston's probably going to take it in 7.
Yeah, you think so?
I'd imagine. When do they play again here?
When they play Saturday, so probably tomorrow.
Yeah, they've been going every other one. Klay Thompson played well in the last game, and so he's been out for 2 years, and at his age, so I have a hard time seeing him playing well again. So
At his age, ain't he young?
he's got to be close to 30. Well, it seems like it. They've been on top. They've been so competitive for so long. Morning, Dante.
When they get into the NBA, they're usually what?
22 at max
right.
nowadays.
21.
Right.
As long as they do 2 years in college, so it's really don't.
Okay.
A year for real. They don't even got to do 2. They come out freshmen.
About that.
Yeah. So you go into college at what, 17, 18, come out at 19.
Oh man. You have you seen Draymond Green? He's been the talk of the finals because he's a master agitator.
I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah, man.
Like Rodman.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think every
he's
great,
on the Mount Rushmore.
Right. Every great team should have their agitator.
Right.
Rick Mahorn. You understand what I'm saying? Like you need that person to get underneath your skin.
Right.
If you're not getting in their head, you're not winning.
And that's the problem. Well, it's been going both ways lately. You see, thank you, Dante. They play tomorrow. Yeah, you're right, P. It's been going both ways. Did you hear during one game they're chanting Boston crowds chant "F you, Draymond," etc. So, and then his wife tweeted about she didn't appreciate her kid having to hear her father
Don't take your son to a
being
game
called a bitch.
Tell your dad not to be such an asshole.
Well, that was my thing. I'm thinking to myself, lady, please, you being a little hypocritical. You married to that dude. I know you've called him a bitch once or twice. Like, you know what I mean? Can you imagine the hijinks that he pulls at home? Oh, my goodness.
She can't afford to call.
Right. Under her breast, she probably did. Or in her
then
head.
again, females say whatever they want.
So, after game 3, which he played pitifully in, he had like 2 points. Steve Kerr pulled him to start the fourth quarter. Golden State was getting boat raced. Steve Kerr was just like, come have a seat next to me. Let me think about your life for a minute.
Let me coach you.
So after that game, because I don't know if you know, I didn't know until this whole thing, but he's been doing a podcast after every game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has a podcast.
Right. So yeah, they gave him a podcast. So then there was a whole controversy. What's my man's name? Kendrick Perkins was busting jokes on him on social media, saying looks like Draymond prepared more for his podcast than for the game.
Well, they've been going at it for a minute.
Yeah.
Draymond called him an ogre. He said, "I'm an ogre. You ain't too cute yourself." Nah, that doesn't fly with me, Kendrick. You got to call him something, man. He called you an ogre, bro. You got to call him something back.
I don't know. He killed two birds with one stone. He was, self-deprecating, but at the same time, he still.
I'm an ogre. You calling me an ogre?
You want to talk?
You want to talk? Like you an ogre too?
Oh man. So Green, we got a quick video. Green released this video right after Game 3 where he was disputing that the whatnot about his podcast.
Hey, Draymond shouldn't be podcasting. So I hear all the noise about the podcast. It's not going anywhere. You're going to get this podcast. If you don't want to listen, don't. But you're going to get this podcast. And if you want to talk about it, great. I know like there's media people. I'm sorry that this podcast is probably doing better numbers than yours, but your attempt at doing a podcast, I ain't the one listening. I mean, so, there's other people listening, so be mad at them. But y'all gonna get this podcast. Win, lose, draw, hoisting the trophy, putting my ring on my finger. You name it, y'all getting this podcast. So keep talking, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy your news cycle tomorrow. Be great. And then make sure you listen to the pod.
Yeah. I like that, though. That might be the new catchphrase for this. Y'all gonna get this podcast.
Y'all gonna get this.
Y'all gonna get this. But you know what? The way he says it, knowing our audience, knowing who the messenger, kind of sounds like a threat when he says it. Like, y'all gonna get this podcast, or else what? Like, what the heck is he going for?
Why do you always think that black people are threatening?
No, here we go.
Like he telling y'all gonna understand it. Y'all gonna get this. Y'all gonna hear this is coming from his mouth. Like,
like a whole lot.
You gonna get this podcast. That's all he's saying.
And you know what though, I will respect it if he's doing that after losses. Same thing. Because I agree with you, Bree. He can be a little bit of a front runner in how he talks.
He gonna talk. Yeah, that's what he's
talks
supposed
when
to do.
He wins, and then when he takes an L, he's quiet.
Oh, the Tampa Bay Lightning won hockey. They won.
Oh, did they? Damn, is that 3 in a row then?
Yeah.
Wow. A dynasty.
3 in a row?
I believe so.
I know they won last year. I thought
if not, it's 2 of the last 3.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh man. Oh, did you hear about? Oh, speaking of NBA, one last thing on basketball. Did you hear about? I didn't know that during the Celtics Nets series, Big Baby Davis, right? Mm-hmm. He's right there front and center because having a good old time hanging out. Yeah, the problem was he was in violation of bail. He wasn't supposed to be attending an NBA game.
What?
Yeah, he was part of that whole scam where they were running the healthcare scam on the NBA. So he was out on bail for that. And
he was running the healthcare scam.
Well,
oh, they okay. The third street.
Okay, yeah. Okay. They beat the Rangers then. Okay, right. Yeah, that's right. They still.
But he was doing what?
Okay, so he was part of that whole thing where they were scamming the NBA. Oh shoot, why am I aiming that? They were scamming the NBA for health care. Hold on here. Damn it.
You're the worst.
Oh, man. This is the worst. Like, hold up. Where the... Yeah. He was part of that. Well, he was out on bail for that. Right. Him and a few other ex-NBA players, by the way. Well, obviously.
So they're not allowed to come to the NBA games during this?
That's part of their
bill.
Yeah.
They can't have anything to do with the NBA, something that they long for.
They were part of, and he didn't. Obviously, he didn't care.
I mean, he didn't care. You feel me? But it's like, how can I not be here. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I sweat so you can make money. Like, my sweat is in the past, but my sweat has allowed you to make money. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's just crazy.
Yeah,
He was scamming the NBA for healthcare fraud, submitting false claims, and pocketing the money.
There we go. Thank you.
So how they were submitting false claims? What, saying their back hurt?
Oh, probably my knee. Oh.
And the NBA was paying them.
Yeah,
and then
or
they
paying out the health, or paying out the paying them. I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So how you paying the insurance? Shouldn't you just be paying the insurance straight up?
Dang, but $1 billion corporation.
Right,
so.
but you should have insurance for your retirees and
no, they don't care. Once you out, you out. I mean, like
they get
baseball,
pensions. They get pensions.
They all get pensions, yeah. But NFL's the worst, and then I would imagine hockey, and then after that,
Ain't no hockey. Hockey's the best. You never hear them complain about anything.
No, they had that strike a few years back.
Yeah,
They got
that was to make sure the money was coming through. But they don't. Baseball and hockey don't complain about
baseball,
too much anything.
Baseball's union got it.
Yeah. No, you're going to pay us. There are a lot of white people out here on the field. We need our pensions. Now do that shit to the NFL and the NBA.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The Wi-Fi turned off. All right. So, oh shoot. So, my man Kanye. We talked about Kanye a few times. Yo, did you hear? Him and the new John split.
Of course.
Yeah, right. Well, look at her.
No, what's wrong with her?
I'm saying, look at her because you know how it's obvious he's got a type. You know what I mean? Like, how many times she probably got called Kim? Kim, you so crazy. Stop it, Kim. You know what I mean?
You saying he called her Kim?
Yeah, probably.
Damn.
If not in his head, he's damn sure.
I don't think she looked like Kim.
You don't?
I think she light skinned. If that's his type, that's his type.
Is Kim, Kim adjacent? No? Kim Kardashian adjacent?
No, I can't even give her that.
Okay, all right.
You know what I mean? Like, Kim is Kim at the end of the day. You feel me? And Kanye should know the difference.
Right.
like, at the end of the day.
I don't know though. His line, his line on reality is blurring right now.
No, his mind isn't in reality because he's a billionaire. He's doing things that most of us can only dream of doing.
You know what? Money probably does affect you.
Yeah,
like
it affects you.
Yeah,
it affects
well,
you.
Obviously, it does.
affects the way you think, the way you breathe, the way you sleep, the way you eat, the way you drive, the way you fly, the way you everything. The way you stay, everything. It affects everything. So why wouldn't it affect your mental?
Yeah,
you know?
Especially if you've already
you sitting there put out some sneakers and somebody paying $550 for a pair of sneakers that only cost $150 in the store. Like, understand.
And McDonald's is paying him to I think did we mention that? McDonald's is paying him to
design a burger.
The burger box.
Yeah.
It's a picture of the burger on the box, essentially. I'm like, and they paid him for this.
Yes.
They paid him for this.
Yes. They understand. The Yeezy Burger Box. There it is right there. That name, right?
Oh, my goodness.
That's dope, man. I'm proud of him.
I mean, I can't be mad at him. Like, he took a picture of a burger and put it on the box. And a worldwide corporation is saying,
let us get that. Can we have that? We never thought of that. Literally. I know the CEO looking around like, you motherfuckers never thought of this shit? He is a genius. He is fucking brilliant.
Oh my goodness.
He put the fucking,
you're all fired.
He put the picture on the box. Like, and everybody's astounded by it.
Wow.
Fucking yes, Kanye. Yes.
It dumbfounds me.
And that's why I'm saying he where his mind is, he can do anything right now. He could put a picture of a shirt on a shirt and a million motherfuckers about. Oh my God. Do you understand how deep that is to put a picture of a shirt on a shirt? That is fucking awesome. Only Kanye can do that.
Genius.
A genius. I see now Nike and everybody, all the sweatsuit people are coming out with the same colorway that he got, or the guy from Essentials, or the way that he throw his colors out there, his like the matte colors, pink and orange and blue. Oh, they all doing that shit now.
Oh my goodness.
I said, damn. Go ahead, Kanye. I'm proud of him, man. I'm mad that he married Kim. You feel me?
Okay.
And then he got divorced from her because that's what's gonna happen. You marrying these Kardashians, but at the end of the day, he's about himself. So why are we worried about what he's doing? I don't know.
Especially this man, a picture of the burger on the box.
Yes.
Come on.
Perfect.
You can't see him. He's like John Cena.
He's a fucking genius.
You can't see him.
He's a fucking genius, man.
Oh, my goodness. Yo,
Even right there, he got 2 jackets on.
that boy's a fashion icon.
Oh,
Look at that. 2 jackets.
2 jackets. Not one.
Look at that.
He ain't got 1 jacket. He got 2 jackets on. 2 different textiles. And, oh, man. Listen.
Can't see.
Kanye is great, man. Leave him alone, man. Leave that brother alone.
Oh, well, speaking of rappers, man, you know, we talked about how rappers here have been living violently lately. Well, they no longer talk it; they live it nowadays.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, you know, like when I worked at
At that place?
at yeah, at the place, yeah,
Yeah, the place
When I
that-
worked at public broadcasting, we used to watch international programming. I used to love Saturday mornings. AVS, Asian Variety Show, would come on. It was like 2 hours of all these spectacles. But I didn't you know, I would hear, but I didn't know this guy. This here he's a Punjabi rapper. Number 1 Punjabi, number 1. That was one track that was on AVS back in the day. Shubhadeep Singh Sidhu, and he was Shubhadeep Singh Sidhu.
Yeah, that's a rapper's name.
Also known around the world as a stage name, Sidhu Moose Walla. So Sidhu Moose was what he was pretty much known as. He was killed last Sunday evening while driving his car in Mansa. It's a district in India's Punjab state.
Damn.
28 years old, rushed to the hospital and declared dead. And they're looking for his assailant. The incident led to, now the Baltimore Sun reports Baltimore Spinning Board has wait, I clicked on the wrong. Wait. Okay. The incident led to Evans being incarcerated, which ultimately prevented him from. Oh no, I clicked the article ahead. Moose Walla started off as a songwriter before a hit song in 2017 catapulted his singing career, making him well known among the Indian and Punjabi diaspora in countries like the United Kingdom and Canada. Little fun fact, P. He said that. That's Sidhu Moose, Jabri. Come on now. You ain't heard of Sidhu Moose. Shh. Don't. Anyway, I was Ubering this guy, right? Him and his family from the airport. Dude was like middle-aged. Well, he looked like late 40s Indian. Had this podcast playing about Idi Amin. He gets in the car, and as soon as he hears the name Idi Amin, he was like, oh, he was all in tune and whatnot, paying attention. And so, come to find out that Idi Amin, when he had this purge because years before, a lot of Indian people were imported by the British when they had colonized Uganda, and they were there to do rail yard work and what have you. A lot of the times, a lot of those Indian people never left Uganda after the rail work was done. So they were more Ugandan. They spoke it. They sent, you know what I mean? A lot of them had never even seen Uganda before, and they were kicked. Idi Amin plucked them out. So then a lot of them went to the UK and Canada. And dude had mentioned that he was from Toronto. And I was like, interesting. I was like, well, there you go. That's one to grow on. So anyway, back to Sidhu Moose. Yeah, his glossy music videos were most famous for his rap lyrics and often focused on macho culture. So his debut album in 2018 made it all the way to the top of Canada's Billboard album charts. So there you go. Oh, speaking of rappers, did you hear about Baltimore rapper Young Moose? He recently won $300,000 after in a settlement with Baltimore City, and that's him pictured with Officer Daniel Herschel. More on him in a moment. And so what happened was Moose said 28-year-old Kevron Evans said that in 2012 Herschel planted crack cocaine on him during the search that took place. The incident led to Evans being incarcerated, which ultimately prevented him from receiving lucrative music endeavors and tarnished his reputation. The rapper's charges were dismissed 8 years later in 2020. So, the City of Baltimore released a statement in order to resolve this case, avoiding the expense, time, and uncertainties of further protracted litigation and the potential for an excess judgment. BPD and the city agreed to offer plaintiff a settlement payment of $300,000.
$300,000.
$300,000.
You ruined this man's career.
Right.
You
That's
understand,
that's the thing. They were like, let's settle now, because the longer this goes on, the uglier it's going to get.
Man, listen, I need $20 million.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I had a rap career,
And
y'all sent me to jail on something I did not do.
right.
You know, like that's sad, bro.
And
That's sad.
this was going on a lot, which leads us into what I've been watching. Right.
Right.
Have you been? I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but since last we saw one another, folks, we saw the completion of the 6-part HBO miniseries "We Own This City," and it's centered on the 8 officers in the gun trace task force in Baltimore. Officer Herschel, who was pictured with Young Moose, is one of them, and these cats were essentially picture stick-up boys with badges.
That's what they do.
and that's the thing. So out of these 8 cops, right? And it's, by the way, the book is based on a book by a Baltimore Sun reporter about the same topic. Based on it. So what these guys were doing, right? They were robbing cats, obviously, but 2 of them at least were robbing drug dealers while they were still in uniform before they even got to this elite task force, right? Herschel, who was pictured a moment ago with Young Moose, he would rob citizens sometimes. Let's pull him over. No, you ain't got no crack on you. Yes, you do. And then turn around, say the citizen had $600 on him. Herschel would take, and guess how much would get declared for evidence?
$1.
Right, $50. He'd take the other $600 and drink it, gamble it away, whatever.
$50.
Right. Meanwhile, ruining this dude's life, that might be his check right there. He needed that.
And he got a crack charge.
Yeah, and
going to jail.
Yeah. And a lot of these guys, a lot of guys in the show that were getting arrested, they showed that they would come out of jail and there's somebody from the Baltimore DA's office trying to get them to sign this thing saying that you won't sue the city and the charges will be dismissed.
No.
Right. Because this one dude that they depicted in the show, he got locked up. He was in jail for 2 days, got fired. You know what I mean? Well, that happened eventually. He got fired. Well, he got fired. He came out of jail, signed that agreement, then went to work, got fired, and the car got repoed. Right. You know what I mean? Slide from there.
Right.
So, hell no. And that's the thing, though. He came out, signed that agreement after spending 2 days in jail. No. 2 days ago,
I was a drug dealer.
Maybe I would have thought about signing this shit.
No, I'm not signing nothing. You
Right.
pull me over, put drugs on me. Listen, we taking this all the way.
Right.
I'll struggle through it. I'm homeless, whatever. I'm coming to court. Listen, this has affected my life. You don't think it does? You don't think a drug charge affects a person's life?
And that was the system, how it was in
That's how the system goes.
It is, yeah.
Period.
And so, it was set in Baltimore. It's done by the same people who did The Wire. So it's pretty much plays out the same thing, except that it feels more visceral because this actually happened. And David Simons.
The Wire.
Huh?
So did The Wire.
Right, pretty much.
Right.
But David Simon's penchant for realness, and especially a lot of this stuff, this is on transcripts. You know what I mean? So what kills me is how the feds got onto them in the first place. Because the county police were tracking this one drug dealer. A drug dealer who 2 of these guys were staking out to rob.
Right.
So then county guys they put a tracker on this drug dealer's car. All right, set up on him. Okay, he's here, there. All right, we'll hit him in the morning. Like they like to do sunrise. Meanwhile, in the middle of the night, these 2 guys had already stormed the house and whatnot. The county cops show up. They're like, this door's been kicked in and whatnot already. So then the one county cop says to the other, yo, get that tracker off his car. Them things are expensive. He goes to get that tracker. I came for one tracker, but here there
got
are two trackers in my hand. And that set, then two of it, well, that set these guys, that has set the county police on to, they turned that evidence eventually over to the FBI, who was already watching these two cats. And these two cats, they kept going business as usual.
Why would they stop?
Right.
They police. They don't know that nobody's watching what they're doing. The light hasn't come on yet.
That's the thing. In the show, they depicted, like, the two are sitting there having a conversation as their car is wired.
Right.
And they're sitting in the car, and one of them says to the other, yo, you know the big boys are looking at us. And then the other one goes, they looking at you. You go all rolling around like the king of Zamundu around here. This, that, and the other. Oh, yo. And then, well, eventually the squad gets taken over by this guy, Wayne Jenkins. Yo. He looked around, and he was like, man, y'all stealing. But y'all ain't stealing right. Like, this guy could not be stopped, man. There's a scene that he's depicted, and well, they depicted the one of the cops, and that was funny because one of the cops is sitting down because he's already, he's cuffed and whatnot. That he's talking to the feds, and he tells them of a night that he and Sergeant Wayne Jenkins, who was the head of this gun trace task force, they go out for a night at the strip club, and Jenkins spots a dwarf stripper, tells the stripper that's on his lap, send her over here, sweetheart. I want a lap dance from that. As the dwarf is on her way over, he says to the other two cops, yo, I'm gonna hit that. And he was like, I've always wanted to do that, man. So then he goes in the back with this girl, but he's only back there for like 2, maybe 3 minutes. Comes back out, and he's like, let's go. Swerves them off into the car, and then this is the conversation that takes place.
We wasn't even in that hour. Man, look. That little mini-me motherfucker was on top of me for like 5 seconds. I couldn't fit inside of her. So I knew that wasn't going to happen, so I just dumped the run on the ground, and She put it on you, didn't she? Nah, man. She put it on you, didn't she? I'll tell you what she put on that ass on her. I'll tell you what happened. Hey, I grabbed her for money, and I bailed her out. That's what happened. So you fucking heard me. Hey, look. It's like twice as much as I fucking gave her. He home. You robbed a midget stripper? Come on, don't put it like that, man.
He was just stealing everywhere he could at that point. And when you think about it, though, so what? Let's say they steal. Let's say they get a drug dealer. They raid his house. All right, they find $800,000, but they're only going to turn in $200,000, right? Say one of them gets left in the room with the stack for a minute. He pockets some. That's going in his own pocket. Say another one has already patted down said drug dealer and takes his pocket stash, which should, in theory, go into the pot. He pockets that. Eventually, then they start splitting up the stack. So when you think about it, they were stealing from one another as well. They just were out of control. And they, like I said, they knew that they were under investigation. And it was funny because then they depicted one conversation in the strip club. These guys spent a lot of time apparently at the strip club. But they depicted this one conversation where one of them says, yo, if they get cops, somebody's going to snitch. We some snitching mofos. But yeah. So, I forgot to warn you folks, by the way, with all the
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Oh, shoot.
Spoiler alert.
With all that talk
Spoiler
about the show.
alert.
So, yeah. But let's whip out our revolutionary display technology, and we give an obligatory 4 train tickets to We Own This City. But here's the thing, man. You're watching it, and the way, it's not just the entertainment part of it, but it's depressing and bleak. Because the line between, you're seeing that line between...
There is no line.
Cop and criminal.
There is no line.
It's just,
it's the same.
It's a blurry old...
It's not blurry. You looking for the line. There is no line.
Yeah,
between a cop and a criminal, there is no line. They can cross it over real quick.
And that's just it. Wayne Jenkins, Wayne Jenkins and these 8 cops, they might try and paint it as a rogue unit or whatnot, but no, they are clearly a symptom of how this whole thing is played.
When you watch people make money and you can pull up on them and pull them out their car and arrest them, next thing to do is to take their money. I'm making $65,000 a year protecting the city, and you making upwards of $1 million every 3 weeks.
And they rationalized it every time.
Yeah, they will.
Oh, yeah.
They will.
It was fascinating. But also affects, they were robbing regular citizens too, though.
They will.
And yeah.
It don't matter.
And you can't put it together. And so it would take them 3 days. They show it in We Own the City. It would take them 3 days to put together a 12-person jury because nobody believes a word because so many people had already experienced it in some way, shape, or form, whether personally or a close relative had been harassed, jacked by the arrest rate shot up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, man.
They're doing their job of cracking down on the drugs.
This whole tough on crime thing, man.
And then when the opioids hit, everything changed up. I had that conversation yesterday. I said, guns were always here.
Right.
But when the drugs stopped being the cause of our weakness, when we stopped using pills and popping pills like that, then they had to up the guns. So they got ghost guns now. You can buy a gun from here. You can buy a gun from there. You can buy a gun on the corner anytime. Let's put the guns in the community.
These damn things are just raining from the sky.
Right. Let's put the guns in the community because they ain't fucking with this opioid.
Right.
We gotta get these niggas in jail.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Actually, and there was a great quote. This was also during the time that a Department of Justice representative was in the city getting ready for the city's consent decree because a lot of this takes place shortly after the Freddie Gray death.
Right.
Or excuse me, the death of Freddie Gray. And so the Department of Justice representative on a checklist of people to meet is Detective Brian Grrllls, and he's a retired, former Detective Brian Grrllls. And so she's having a conversation with him because he wrote a book, and he also teaches. He retired and started teaching a class about Fourth Amendment and justified search and whatnot, trying to raise. Yeah. And he had, and then they played this quote from Grrllls, who was played by Treat Williams in the show. But this struck me right here.
Everything changed when I came up with that expression, the war on drugs. What an idiotic fucking thing to say. What the hell is a war on drugs? What does that mean? Waging a war against citizens. By definition, it's separating us into two opposing camps.
The colonizer and the colonized.
Albert Memmi, very good, yes. And with the war comes police militarization, SWAT teams, tactical squads, stop and frisk, strip searches, a complete gutting of the Fourth Amendment. It was like we're fighting terrorists on foreign soil. And you can't just blame the cops. We serve the politicians who thrive on being tough on crime.
Zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance. Quality of life arrest. Having a beer on your own stoop. Loitering. Spitting on the sidewalk. Existing.
Right.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But that's something, to me, it sums it up right there. 40 plus years, what are we at? 46 years of the war on drugs?
About 85.
No, I'm thinking
90,
of going back
37.
to Nixon.
You going back to Nixon?
Yeah.
Nixon started the war on drugs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, 40-something years, nothing accomplished, none gained, lots of citizens locked up.
Nothing accomplished and nothing gained on our side.
Or not, right, okay. Well,
they gained a lot and they accomplished a lot on their side. A lot of people got promotions, a lot of people got bonuses, a lot of people got jobs.
They were celebrating Jenkins almost up to the moment the cuffs were put on him.
Right.
Right.
That's how it goes, bro. I remember going to federal court and the two cops walked in. They were the most decorated cops I've ever seen. All the gold and green and orange and blue. I'm like, damn, y'all don't wear that on your usual jerseys? Why y'all wearing it on your usual jerseys? Why y'all don't wear that when y'all running the streets? Y'all got your uniforms on. Where all that stuff come from? But literally, they sat in there and said I was a drug dealer, the biggest drug. I said, the biggest? What are you talking about?
Right.
He whooped my ass. I didn't have wasn't no drugs in this arrest. He whooped my ass for nothing.
So
you eventually got locked up for drugs. Yeah, because he jumped on the walkie and said all this shit, and they got to looking for shit. Like, it was
Right. And you know what? That's depicted in the show. There is one detective. He's played by you've seen The Wire, no?
Yeah.
Okay, so Marlo
Right.
plays a homicide detective, which is kind of ironic.
Right.
But you seen the series?
No. I see him on.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch it.
Okay, yeah. This binge worthy. You'll just chew right through it, man. Yeah, so he plays a homicide detective, but he started off in that unit for a minute. He learned what he could learn, then he got out. But while he was there, so for instance, Jenkins got pulled up. There was a big part of his big internal investigations file was he went after this guy. He was a big, pumpy, like Jenkins was just on go all the time, it sounded, the way they depict him. So he went chasing.
The white dude?
Yeah. Josh Bernthal, he played in Walking Dead.
Right.
Punisher.
Right.
So he goes, initiates a chase, turns around, which he should have radioed in because the helicopter was already on the car. So you know once that's on you,
Right.
chase is done. And so he still kept chasing, wound up killing a pedestrian. And so while he's waiting for a commander, they've already searched the car 4 times, according to the scene in the show. Then he says one time to Marlo, who's still on his unit at the time, yo, check the car again, Sean, because the supervisor on the scene, like, yo, what the? And then Sean walks over to the car, and you've seen it in real life. You've seen it on Baltimore cops' body cameras where they pull this. Goes up, walks up. He's there they've searched the car 4 times already. Look at this. We must have missed this the first 4 times. Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. And like you said, everybody feeding off of the people. But at the same time, though, man, you're dragging yourself down. You're dehumanizing yourself.
Who?
I mean, they are.
They're not human.
They don't see it then. Or they don't see us as human.
They don't see us as human. And
yeah, because Jenkins says animals multiple times.
Right.
And he says he catches, during the Freddie Gray riots, while he was still in uniform, he catches 2 kids coming out of a Rite Aid. He says, stop, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Anybody else in there? No. Drop that, get the hell on. They drop the drugs and run. He picks it up and puts it in his car and takes it to his fence, man.
Why
and has the nerve to say these animals were looting the Rite Aid.
Yeah.
You, what?
You're an animal.
Right. But he can't see it that
You're more
way.
like a scavenger.
Yes.
You feel me? We do the bad.
Yeah,
You're a bottom feeder. We do the work, and you come and scare us away and take the money. Yeah, that's how it works, bro. That's how it works.
Oh, yes. Well, speaking of dehumanizing oneself in the name of power, etc., what I've been reading, I read this book by Elizabeth Wilkerson. It's called Caste, The Origin of Our Discontent. Yeah. Listen.
What's her name?
Elizabeth Wilkerson.
Isabel?
Elizabeth. You messing with me. Stop, man.
I'm
You
looking at
messing
the
with me.
name on the joint. It
says Isabel?
Yeah.
I thought it was Elizabeth.
Yeah, you want to read,
damn.
right? Really read the book.
Okay.
Isabel?
Isabel.
Elizabeth. Isabel? Elizabeth.
Yeah, sure. Her, yeah.
It's on the fucking book. Unless that's just somebody else.
No, you're right. Isabel. Look at that.
It's okay.
I listened to that whole thing too. But yeah, man. Well, first off, some books that you open up and then you can't. No, this is. We talked before about that Amazon show Underground Railroad and how it was tough to binge watch. You watch an episode and you're just like feeling a little unsafe right now for people to be around. Like this is kind of that book. I had to take breaks often.
Why?
Yeah. Because get your blood up as a person in the bottom caste that she's describing. So what she's arguing is that America's not necessarily we have a race-based caste system, and she defines caste as such.
A caste system is an artificial construction, a fixed and embedded ranking of human value that sets the presumed supremacy of one group against the presumed inferiority of other groups on the basis of ancestry and often immutable traits that would be neutral in the abstract, but are ascribed life and death meaning in a hierarchy favoring the dominant caste, whose forebears designed it. A caste system uses rigid, often arbitrary boundaries to keep the ranked groupings apart, distinct from one another, and in their assigned places. Throughout human history...
Hold on 1 second, Isabel. Speaking of keeping in your place, right? Recently there was a little scrum because Tuskegee head coach Reginald Ruffin went on social media and commented on a post where he encouraged Alabama head coach Nick Saban, because you know those body bag games where teams, big squad has one AA squad come through and they thrash them 54-0 to start the season or for homecoming, and school 1AA gets 500,000 or whatever. So what Ruffin was pretty much, that's all Ruffin was saying, like, let those HBCUs get in on some of that cash. All he said was recommended that Alabama play more HBCUs. Excuse me.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. And it was guttural. It came from nowhere. Apologies, folks. Oh man. But by the way, he's also the athletic director. He received death threats after that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what he said. He said to see those comments over what was misconstrued, because they're accusing him of trying to tell Saban, and so a lot of these posts, they're accusing him of trying to tell Saban what to do, when all he was doing was just making a mere suggestion, like, yo, what's up with us over here? But that goes back to what Wilkerson is saying in her book. He wasn't in his place. Who are you? Who are you, you gosh darn nigga? To be suggesting what Coach, and they already genuflect at the altar of Coach Saban anyway, down there, who is anyway, that'll get me started, and then that'll somehow lead to Bill Belichick, which always leads to Tom Brady. All roads of my hate lead to Tom Brady. But to continue on with what Wilkerson is arguing in the book about caste.
3 caste systems have stood out. The tragically accelerated, chilling, and officially vanquished caste system of Nazi Germany, the lingering millennia-long caste system of India, and the shape-shifting, unspoken, race-based caste pyramid in the United States. Each version relied on stigmatizing those deemed inferior to justify the dehumanization necessary to keep the lowest-ranked people at the bottom, and to rationalize the protocols of enforcement.
Which, how many times, like when all those people that showed up to counter-protest, I'd said it since then, those guys that showed up in front of the George Floyd protest to reenact Floyd's murder. I'm like, don't you have anything else better to do with your day? No, Darren. What they were doing was reaffirming this, like, that is important to them, to that position of power, which leads to a guy like Trump in office, because he makes them feel better about it. Like, I joked before about, daggone, they act like one advancement in right for one minority group or marginal group is a decrease in their rights or what have you. Yes, the way Wilkerson, yes, Darren, yes, they see it that way. They pathologically see it that way. Speaking of the Germans, man, there was this guy recently. Did you hear about this, P? Next, keep going with the picture. Carl Palladino. He's a Republican House candidate from New York. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a Republican House candidate from New York. Oh, wait. Actually, did I miss the donkey jump? Yeah, no. All right. You should have donkeys, right? No? Oh, there's Palladino. Thank you. All right. So Palladino suggested he was running for a House seat in Western New York, and he recently was found out that he praised Hitler last year for inspiring his followers. describing the dictator as the kind of leader we could use nowadays in 2021. You know, I was listening to this podcast about Hitler too, and like, not just him, but other dictators, how they somehow just managed to, people all get into this froth, but in retrospect, they never look back and say, you know, that really worked out well for us. You know, no, it never works out well for you. Nobody ever reflects on that dictator and says those were the good times, except the people that were already in power with him and were cashing in off it. There was one dude who was a German colonel, actually, who said to, when they gave Hitler the chancellorship and the president at the same time, pretty much signing over the country, that maniac, he said to him, you know, this is going to ruin us eventually. He said, children, there will be a day when children will curse your name for allowing this to happen. I bet he looks back now like, called it. But yeah, Palladino said this in his interview, which, again, like, the amount of hatred, and that leads to our next, with the Republicans and Democrats, right? You know the death gap is widening between Republicans and Democrats, according to a study that came, recent study on Gallup study in USA Today. It's the death gap is widening because Republicans' lifespan expected, like those who, according to the data, the lifespan of those.
To the mic, bro.
Oh, excuse me. According to the lifespan data of those that filed as Republicans is decreasing, while those that filed as Democrat are increasing. What that tells me is hate just wears on you, man.
I mean, hate is strong.
Yeah.
To hate someone, that causes a lot of energy. You know, a lot of, and shit. To not hate, but to just be quiet, that causes a lot of energy too.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like that's a lot.
Right.
That's a lot of stress. So, you know, I just be like, man, just give out good energy, bro. You want to live a long time, give out good energy, help people. And I think right now, everything that the Democrats are doing to, you know, to curb violence. Yes, they are in New York is crazy, right? People are robbing, everybody robbing, but
right.
Those types of people deserve to be in jail. You know what I mean? Like if you're robbing just to rob because we say we're letting you out,
right?
You feel me? Like I'm gonna let you sit. I'm gonna let you sit.
Yeah,
you feel
yeah.
me? Like after 3 or 4 times, all right, you're not robbing to eat. You robbing just to rob. You know what I mean? You can get a job. You can get a career. You can get a trade. You feel me? Like so, it's like we have to put everything in its place because everything has been knocked off the table ever since Trump took over. Everything got knocked off the table.
Oh my goodness.
And then we got COVID, and they gave out money, and then you let people see that you can give out money. Shit,
that's licenses to you.
Right, literally.
Oh, speaking of, well, we talk about these leaders that they follow. And you know what? That's one thing I've gotten from collectively listening to these podcasts about dictators. People want to follow. It's like that. I don't know if it's that so much in them what this person is saying as so much as they want to follow somebody.
Everybody wants somebody to follow behind. Everybody wants to be able to blame their decisions on somebody else. So people are keen to following. Oh. It's when a person says, "I'm not your leader." They're like, what you mean? Well, fuck it, then I'm out. But people want to follow, man. They need to follow. Yeah. Like that's why you're a follower on IG. You know what I'm saying? Like you're following this person through their life. People want that. People need that. You feel me? And it's like, oh yeah, I get to see what he does and what he's doing and what he's saying. And it's like, yeah, he's not doing anything interesting, so I'm gonna unfollow.
Next.
I'm gonna stop liking his pictures. You feel me? Like and it's like, all right, cool. But at the end of the day, you're still a follower because there are about 40 other pages that you follow. Oh. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, just give good energy, man.
All right. Well, speaking of, you mentioned Trump, and that's the opposite. Well, maybe he's trying to give good energy with this. Did you hear about this? Recently, he released a kid's book. It's called The Plot Against the King.
Oh, man. It's his book?
Huh?
It's his book?
No, it's not. Well, it's about him. He's the king, and obviously there's a plot, and it's poorly written.
It's not a plot against him.
No, well, in the book, he's trying to get together his own little Hitler Youth in this.
Right.
It's written by his former Pentagon Chief of Staff, Kash Patel. And so there's supposedly a plot against the king, but he's going to make the kingdom great again. It's poorly veiled because the adversary of the king is this Hillary Queenton. So there we go. It's sad. It's pathetic, but it's going to sell. And actually, the scary part for me was when I heard about it and I Googled Trump children's book. This was a scratch of the surface. Like they're working on that. Trying to indoctrinate. Yeah.
The debauchery has to be told by someone.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, literally, they understand, right? When we think about the Civil War, you ask yourself, who was the winner of the Civil War? You feel me?
Like really, the winner?
Like the real winner?
Because they're celebrated like they celebrate like they won. Like
because
monuments everywhere for this
because
shit.
they did. There was no winner or loser in a war that put brother against brother.
Right.
Literally over people. The
Yeah.
war was about the controlling force over the people. The North wanted people to work in factories.
Right.
The South wanted people to slave. Right. Give us some of these people. No, we're not giving you nothing. Are we going to take you to war? You're going to lose some people behind it, right? At the end of the day, the South got to write the story. The South wrote the story, put the monuments up, celebrating this one and that one and that one and this one, because they won, because at the end of the day, they had the 13th Amendment. You feel me? Now, we can put these things in jail whenever we want. We can still be slaves. You feel me? Like, nobody lost. And really, we lost, and they won. And whether you say it's the South or the North, it's all the same thing.
Right. Which is why I can't understand what Wilkerson. Oh, real quick, and back to we're still here touching here and there, folks. A little side notes on this whole, because like I said, you can't just binge Cast by Elizabeth Wilkerson, but there's a part in that book where she's talking about you said it, we lost, and there's also a part in that book where she's talking about the dehumanization process of us. So check this.
On the other side, the dominant caste lived under the illusion of an innate superiority over all other groups of humans, told themselves that the people they forced to work for up to 18 hours without the pay that anyone had a right to expect were not, in fact, people, but beasts of the field, childlike creatures, not men, not women.
She's referencing slavery, obviously.
That the performance of servility that had been flogged out of them arose from genuine respect and admiration for their innate glory.
Slavery is an improvement for them. Are you kidding me? We lifted them up by enslaving them.
These disfigured relationships were handed down through the generations. The people whose ancestors had put them atop the hierarchy grew accustomed to the unearned deference from the subjugated group and came to expect it. They told themselves that the people beneath them did not feel pain or heartache, were debased machines that only looked human and upon whom one could inflict any atrocity. The people who told themselves these things were telling lies to themselves. Their lives were to some degree a lie, and in dehumanizing these people whom they regarded as beasts of the field, they dehumanized themselves.
Which leads us, did you hear recently, P, this guy, Blake, and his last name is Masters, too. Blake Masters.
I haven't heard of him.
No, I just want to fight. So what he said recently was he was on a podcast this year. He is a Republican candidate for Senate in Arizona, and obviously recently endorsed by Trump. He was on the Jeff Orovitz show in April, and he said, we do have a gun violence problem in this country, and it's gang violence. It's gangs. It's people in Chicago, St. Louis shooting each other very often, black people, frankly, And the Democrats don't want to do anything about that. So that goes back to, that's a plain example. To me, that's a plain example of what Wilkerson just illustrated, was referencing right there. What were you going to say, P?
No, I'm just going to say who makes the guns.
Right, exactly. And that's what kills me.
Like, I mean, if we haven't learned anything from history, is we didn't bring the drugs over here. The government did, right?
Right.
We didn't flood the streets with drugs. The government did. You feel me? Like, and we're not really in control of what we have to deal with, right? We don't make the guns, even the ghost guns. Most of them aren't made. You had a post of the guy making meth in one room and ghost guns in the other room.
Right, and he was white as can white.
And he's going to go out into the community. He's not going to sell them to his friends because his friends can carry legal guns. He got to go over here into the hood and sell them to the people in the hood, right? And the people that move like that. So it's just like, it's sad when we think about, the power that we have inside of ourselves to just change. But if we don't never see that power, and we don't understand what that power looks like, we can't do anything.
And you know what? You just said we don't sell no guns. Real quick, there's a guy sitting, probably if you skip ahead like toothpick, there's a guy sitting there, like a little sunlight behind him. Yeah. That guy, white dude, he walks into a black-owned...
Why are you skipping ahead?
Because you just... Stories. Oh, okay. You mentioned this. It's on topic.
The ghost guns. We'll get into that. You got this guy, the ATM. You got a guy.
No, he should be.
Stick with the script.
So okay, you're right. So actually, though, we'll come back to that in a second. So did you hear about when part of the dehumanization process and the privilege process? My man, you hear about your boy Kyle Rittenhouse lately?
No. What's up with him?
He was back in the news. Well, recently he announced that he was going to Texas A&M. And then right after that, Texas A&M was like, hell, wait, what did Jabri say? The hell is this? That's what Texas A&M was saying about it. Then, turn around, that turned out to be a lie. Right. He hadn't even applied.
To Texas A&M.
Right, let alone got accepted. Then next thing you know, he's talking about, oh yeah, I'm going to Michigan State. To which Michigan State was said, how do you say it again, Jabri? The hell is this? He ain't coming. Oh, but yeah, like, the ability to double down on lie. So I wonder, if he was going to lie in public, oh yeah. And see, that's the thing with these lonely ass, angry ass, vigilante ass, like these, the Proud Boys and all that. Look at this guy. This is one of the, if not the main problem when you get, I think so, this is problem number 2 when you get down to it for these guys. They can't get laid. They don't look at this guy. He is not getting laid. All right, he's got his oversized little police uniform. You already see where his life is headed right there, posing with his mama.
Who said he can't get laid?
He's too scared to get game. That's why he got that badge. That's his game, putting on a uniform. He too scared to get shot down and whatnot.
That's crazy.
A lot of these guys, and you see it, that Proud Boys. Yo, them Proud Boys, they've been in the news because there was a guy from the Philly area that just got locked up for part of that January 6th stuff, right? One of the rules in the Proud Boy, one of the rules for being a member of the Proud Boys, and fellas, listen to this. You can only masturbate once a month.
What?
First off, y'all talking that freedom sugar honey iced tea, and you're going to try and come not only the most private of private acts, you're going to try and tell me what to do with that, and once a month. Thank you for your time, fellas. I appreciate your consideration for my offer to join, but I got to go. What is that? They can't get laid. They're angry. Like, it just permeates everything they do. Speaking of anger, did you hear about this little preacher? He's in Texas. It looks like Opie Cunningham for a hot second. But he said recently at a event, he's saying that gay people should be shot in the back of the head. And to which, I'm sorry, but that's not him. That's Masters.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's funny. He looks like he's sitting behind a desk. Looks like Opie Cunningham for a second. But what kills me about this though, like when I always say about the homophobic, like viscerally homophobic like that, he's saying, look at this guy. I'm sorry, but he makes my gaydar go. Like I get a hit from him.
You have gaydar?
Huh? Yeah.
Everyone's gay once in a while.
You know, I came with one pre-installed. Yeah. Yeah, it's under warranty. Although I got to get that renewed soon. No, I'm kidding. But no, look, come on.
I mean, he doesn't look gay to me. He looks like, you know, a religious
Southern nut job.
ultra religious nut who speaks to people and people listen. Again,
they like
people.
Joel Osteen. This dude sells out the where did the
I don't know
the Astrodome. Right. That's where the Oilers used to play.
Right.
He sells that out every Sunday.
Why wouldn't he though? There are people we want to follow. Literally, the thing is that they turn the black community into people that want to question. And don't nobody want to follow. So now, you know, you got this group over here that's big on following him and wanting to shoot gay people in the back of the head.
Oh, man.
And giving money.
Everyone's gay once in a while.
Everyone's gay once in a while. Where? I don't know that. Nah, I just believe, man, just love is enough, man. I don't have time for that shit. I don't dislike anybody.
Dangling the dice on Lance's forehead.
I don't dislike anybody for anything that they do. It's your decision. It's your life.
And that's what I don't understand. Like,
don't
who
judge him.
cares what that guy is doing with his drunk? All right, I got my own junk to worry about, and it makes me make plenty of bad decisions, and puts me in plenty of bad situations without having to worry about what that dude is doing with his junk.
I don't understand that,
man. So. Real quick, you know what? There's another part in Cast where she's depicting the meeting where the Nazis sat down for what would become the Nuremberg laws.
On this day, June 5th, 1934, they were there to debate the legal framework for an Aryan nation, to turn ideology into law. As they settled into their chairs to hash out what would eventually become the Nuremberg laws, the first topic on the agenda was the United States and what they could learn from it.
This is where it gets a little horrifying for me, because I'm thinking the Nazis looked at, I'm living in this system.
Chairing the meeting, Franz Gürtner, the Reich Minister of Justice, introduced a memorandum in the opening minutes detailing the ministry's investigation into how the United States managed its marginalized groups and guarded its ruling white citizenry. The 17 legal scholars and functionaries went back and forth over American purity laws governing intermarriage and immigration. In debating how to institutionalize racism in the Third Reich, wrote the Yale legal historian James Q. Whitman, they began by asking how the Americans did it.
What? You're shocked?
A little.
Why?
Yeah,
Why? Why do you think America did away with slavery? Because they couldn't reach out into other countries and do what they're doing now.
Can't get investment like that?
Yeah.
Because we were one of the last two or three.
You can't go around the world telling people how to treat people and you treating people the way you treating people. Government.
And so that she alludes to that with the Nazis and how they were coming up because they were still trying to attract foreign investment before they began the invasion of Poland and what have you.
Right.
Nazis needed no outsiders to plant the seeds of hatred within them. But in the early years of the regime, when they still had a stake in the appearance of legitimacy and the hope of foreign investment, they were seeking legal prototypes for the caste system they were building.
Like, which is funny, like, man, you know, we can't go up to a bank and say, listen, I want to burn all the Jews. Man, ain't no money in that. We ain't giving you a loan for that. That's just dumb. Besides, the Jews make money. What are you talking about? So, of course, they came up with this legal framework known as the Nuremberg laws. I'm sorry.
They were looking to move quickly with their plans for racial separation and purity, and knew that the United States was centuries ahead of them with its anti-miscegenation statutes and race-based immigration bans. For us Germans, it is especially important to know and see how one of the biggest states in the world with Nordic stock already has race legislation, which is quite comparable to that of the German Reich. The German press agency Großdeutsche Pressedienst wrote, as the Nazis were solidifying their grip on the country. Western Europeans had long been aware of the American paradox of proclaiming liberty for all men while holding subsets of its citizenry in near total subjugation.
Them Americans is
On
full
this
of
day,
shit.
June
Oh shit!
5th,
I hit the play button again. Them Americans full of shit, boy. Woo! But they made it law. They
made it law, and once it's law, it's not a discriminating law unless you look at who it affects, right? And if we're not making this, is why I say the marches that happen down in Selma, the deaths that happen throughout the United States, right, when it comes to our black leaders, right, our black leaders being killed by the police, our black leaders being killed by assassins, right, that are hired by the police, right, or hired by the government. If we don't see that, then we will continue down that road, right? And there's so many people, man, that are doing positive things, but we, as a people, we look at their personal life, and it's not about their personal life.
Right.
You know, oh, what is he doing? What is that person doing? No. He's moving for us. So accept that, because shit, this shit is crazy. Literally. Like,
yeah, and you know what was really crazy was, speaking of the Nuremberg laws, the way I was getting it from the way the text of the book was playing out, I'm like, wait a second. It sounded like there were a few things that the Nazis were like, we that's a little bridge too far. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I mean, they're I don't know. I don't want to say there weren't that many black people in Germany.
Uh-huh.
But when you're going up against yourself, like a white person against a white person, you feel me? You then have to turn it into Jews versus Germans.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
When
and that's the thing, they
I don't
always
think
look
it
for a
was
boogeyman.
Right.
Every that's the one thing I noticed in all those dictators.
Right.
They always find a boogeyman.
Yeah.
So we mentioned it with Idi Amin and the Indian folks that were there, Hitler and the Jews, America and black folks. You know, like this guy.
I mean, but they brought us here. You feel me?
That's what I think.
And we work for free. My thing is just put everybody back on the boat and send them back to where they came from.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, send us back to Africa.
All right, Marcus Garvey.
You feel me? Like, literally. Like, have you ever been to Africa? Like,
No, it's on the bucket list.
Right, but they say it's so beautiful.
Right.
Right, and all we see is the ravaged field parts.
No, I see Richard Pryor coming back and saying, I'll never use the N-word again.
Right.
I said, I need to go to Africa if nothing else for that.
Literally, right? But we don't go. You know, so that's something I want to get done in the next 3 years, man.
Nice.
I want to go to Africa. I want to see parts of a land where my people. I'm not gonna be the person to sit here and say I was born here. Right. My people were born here. You feel me? No, I want to go back to where my ancestors really came from. You know, my father's ancestors, my mother's ancestors, because you know everything. If everything started in Africa, at some point,
right, my
lineage started there too. So I want to go there. I want to see it. I do.
Oh, Peter, the way you make it sound like everybody should go.
Why wouldn't
everybody should go?
Why wouldn't you? You'd be a fool if you don't. You know?
All you folks. Yeah, but that reminds me when we were talking about people in power. I still know this dude. He walks into a black-owned Texas spa, right? He sits down. He starts acting funny, you know, looking around. He had an appointment, but it wasn't for a half hour later. So he shows up early. He's a white male, and this is not very long after what had happened in Texas, right? He's walking around the place, looking around and stuff. And, you know, even other customers are like, yeah, what's going on? What'd you say, Jabri? The hell is this? You know?
Go get your gun, baby.
Right. So she asked him to leave. He turns around and tells her that her and her race is responsible for everything bad that's happening to his country and his race. Which blows my mind because that's when I'd have just grabbed a chair and just pulled it up in front of him like it's this. One word, sir. How? You know, how on earth is it the system that is set up against the people? The majority of the laws that are written are not only against us, are not written by us. We have the minimal. How? I need to know how. Please explain this to me. I need you to illustrate it all out, all right? Not just yell out some quick catchphrase or whatever. I need to know. I need you to know. I need for you to really lay this out.
I told people
Like,
when Donald Trump first started running for president that he was going to win because he was running against Hillary, who had already condemned us.
Right, super predators,
right? The words that she used about us were way past condemning. Right. I also told people, be careful of the groups that are going to be started after he wins because they see the power in talking. You know what I mean? I said, I'm going to start an internet radio station in this time, right? Throughout all this shit, start an internet radio station to combat those thoughts, right? So we can all talk. You know what I mean? And from there, whoever takes the mantle, because I don't want the mantle. I don't have time, literally. And my body can't take it, as I found out Friday, that I can't take all this stress. You know what I mean? Right. From everything, right? So, and
I think that's why the universe made it where I'm working overnights.
Right. So,
like that. I said I'm gonna go with this because I just had a feeling.
I carried it as long as I could, literally, and it's not helping. But to this point, if we don't talk about the things that affect us, and we're not in communication with each other to the point where you understand what I'm talking about, we're gonna keep running into these situations where this man walks into a place that is black owned and gets to talking about how you are stopping him from improving.
Ow!
But in all actuality, he's stopping himself from improving because he's worried about what the fuck you doing.
Because what are you doing right here? What are you doing here right now?
No reason.
What are you doing? I know you could be doing something else with your time.
But they want to get back to that slavery. That slavery was a big moment for them.
Man, they missed that, boy. I just want to own some black people. How come I can't? Please, you underachiever. You wouldn't even have been an overseer back in the day. I can see it back. Yeah, nobody that hired you. Yo, P, so, one last thing on cast. Yeah. An obligatory 4 out of 4 train. Again, look at this. That's revolution. That is flashy. But 4 out of 4, an obligatory 4 out of 4 train tickets for cast by Isabel Wilkerson. Definitely recommend it. That brings us to the end of our first block. Wow, we took a while. But actually, it's funny.
There talking about.
We talked about some. It was heavy.
Yeah.
Like we didn't do many stories, but it was heavy in and of itself, man. So, don't forget to, if you miss any of CMPRadio.net's content, you can go to the CMPRadio.net YouTube or Facebook page. Click the like and subscribe, and don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend. In our next block, P, we're going to talk about the best church service ever. All right. When the last time you been to church?
My grandma was alive.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I only went to church when she asked me to go.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm Muslim.
Okay.
I'm about to.
Oh, so yeah, you'd have to go to the man.
Only went to church when my grandma asked me.
Okay.
Out of respect for her.
All right, right on. Because I got relatives that make me, when I stay at their house, I'm like, try to avoid staying on a Saturday.
I ain't doing that.
So I know they're going to be waking me up on Sunday.
And I forgot the way your shit goes.
So. I'm messing. So thanks, folks. You're on the D train that's all coming up on our next block. Don't forget, in our last block, we got P's Weekly Hero. You're on the D train with Darren DeVoue on CMPRadio.net.
As hard as it is to believe.
Passengers, this is not a show. This is disorder. This is size 10 chaos.
700 level attitude, heart of the Italian stallion.
But speaking of getting some booty, P, Did you hear about Oklahoma's newest?
Getting some what?
Getting some booty. You said that Samuels was having sex when he passed away, or reportedly, rumoredly, whatever, having sex.
I don't like this cowboy.
So Oklahoma, that's a junior college transfer. He led the NGSA National Junior College Association in passing yards with 3,400 and over 3,400 and touchdown passes with 27. Oh, his name, by the way, is General Booty. Yes, you heard General. His first name General, last name Booty. Booty. Yes. P is picking up the phone right now.
I'm not picking up the phone. I'm not doing it.
I thought you were.
No, I'm good. I'm good. This is their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I can just imagine if he makes it to the NFL. General Booty.
He'd have never made it through middle school with the crew that we were. In fact, wait, what's this? We'd have heard that the first day of school. Wait, what? Which one? Who's that?
General Booty.
Oh, I can't wait till recess. We're going to roast you.
We must all of us on this train of life remain in our allotted station.
It's time for the D Train with Darren DeVoue,
The divine keeper of the sacred engine.
We're back on the D Train with Darren DeVoue on CMPRadio.net. It's the station. Don't forget to hit P up for any of these Voice of Chester t-shirts. We got them in all sizes. Well, not all sizes. There's extra large and on down. You get them in black and white, or excuse me, pink on black, white on black, black on white, and white on pink on white. Damn. Don't forget to next week. When are we going on vacation, P? Well, we're not going on vacation per se, but the station goes dark for a month.
No, it doesn't. It's not doing that this year.
Oh, we're not?
No.
All right.
Yeah. So if you're doing your show, do your show. I'll be here.
Rock on. All right. Well, there we go. All right. Oh, this is a quick follow-up. We talked before. We got to keep it moving because, quick follow-up. Remember dirt bike rider that hit 17-year-old Jesus Gomez Rosario, and that took place on Allegheny Avenue in Philly?
Yes.
He turned himself in.
Absolutely.
19-year-old Kevin Rubio. So, I mean, shout out to him for eventually coming back around and doing the right thing. It's a tragic situation, though.
Yeah, no other choice.
Yeah, man. Because eventually his name, he was ID'd.
When you do things like that, it's an accident, right? It wasn't intentional.
Right. There was no malicious.
Vehicular homicide,
manslaughter or something.
Right?
Yeah.
Vehicular homicide. Go do your 5 years and come home.
Okay.
You feel me? Like you have to be willing. You have to be accountable for your actions. Like you can't just think everything is like beatable.
Right.
Be accountable
Gotta
for your
get
actions.
away.
Right? Try to get away. You can't get away from
bills
that
due.
That shit haunt. I guarantee you. Oh yeah. It haunted him. Oh, yeah. Sleeping on
every night.
But you do have people that are natural born killers.
Right. That they don't have apathy.
Right. It's not there. Right, but when you have an accident and somebody died, or you never know,
conscience, the
family could have lived right around the corner.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like you could know a cousin. You feel me? Like life, man. Life is fragile, man. But you have to have apathy, man. So
empathy.
I'm glad he does, man.
Yeah. Right. Speaking of dirt bikes, P, this is a little sad. This took place recently in Wilmington. Unidentified 31-year-old and his 5-year-old son were killed.
Oh my God! He had his 5-year-old kid on the bike.
He not only had his 5-year-old kid on the bike, he had his 5-year-old kid on the handlebars like they had a BMX bike instead of a 300 power or whatever, or 150 power horsepower engine. Yeah, so they wound up hitting the car. Both of them were pronounced dead at the scene, and this took place last night. It was in Newcastle. I'm sorry, I said Wilmington. I meant Newcastle. I know, right? Sad.
Prayers to him and his family. To the 5-year-old. Yeah. Like, I know that's hard for the mother. I mean, the father's not here, so you don't know what he's doing or how he's going through it. Like, but still, like that's hard. You have to be careful, bro. Like anything that you're doing, if you're an adult, do it for you. Don't include your kids in it until they're old enough to ride their own. Like leave them where they at. Like, but I get it. I get it. Shit happens. Accident. That's another accident.
Accident implies there's no one to blame.
No, accident doesn't imply that there's no one to blame because you have said sorry and said it was an accident before and it's been your fault. If you hit a car, that's an accident. It's your fault. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so you can't say an accident implies there's no one to blame.
I don't know. If I hit a car, that's a crash due to negligence.
It's still an accident.
Tomato.
Ain't no tomato. You sitting there judging the
I'm
accident.
not judging.
You are.
Oh, man, where's my wrong buzzer
You're
at?
judging the accident. Oh, that's not an accident. It is an accident.
I said accident implies. It
doesn't
implies.
imply that
Implication is not saying.
Oh, it's been an accident. You've accidentally stepped on somebody's foot. That's your fault. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It implies there's no one to blame.
I'm about to imply something in our next story because this is an unidentified 16-year-old. He was shot in Southwest Philly last week. He was shot in a parking dispute. He got into an argument with a neighbor because the neighbor was complaining he was parked on the sidewalk in front of the house. Neighbor shot him. Now, come to find out, my man got shot last week in West Philly over an undisclosed matter. But I'm like, yo, not to be victim blaming here, sir, but you've been shot twice in the past 2. You gotta ask yourself, like, what kind of energy are you putting out? Are you a habitual line stepper? Do you line step habitually?
Over a parking spot, somebody gets shot. You want to ask the person if they're a habitual line stepper?
Like how?
I want to ask the person that shot me. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Apparently, I'm thinking that dude probably because I mean you've been shot twice in the past. What are you into? That's
Obviously,
my first
he's not
question.
doing any shooting.
Right. You sound like you need to get a gun. Because you talk. I mean, I talk a lot of shit. My mouth is. My default setting is talk shit, and like I've never been shot at. You got it done twice a week. What are you saying out there to people?
You typically talk shit when there's a lot of white people around. You're not talking shit in the hood. You're like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You feel me? You'll talk about it later, but you ain't talking shit in the hood. Well, fuck it. You come in the hood and talk shit, you gonna get shot. You feel me? So if he look, listen, like that's sad, man. 16-year-old.
16.
Them been shot twice.
Right.
So guess what happens now? He picks up a gun.
Yeah, and that's
he's
he's definitely going to shoot somebody.
That's the culture. That's the culture. That's the nature of the culture, bro. It will change you from a person who will accept certain things happening to him to a person who accepts nothing. Oh man, and that's what they want.
How the did this happen?
Yeah. two times in 2 weeks, you've been shot, and you ain't dead.
Right. That's the plan.
You're gonna get a gun. Now you're gonna hand out them punishments.
Definitely not dealing with this anymore.
Yeah, you ain't gonna shoot me. Boom.
Oh well. Speaking of shootings, man, did you hear about this 10-year-old girl last Tuesday in Orlando area? Yeah. That's the mother. This mother she had her 10-year-old daughter with her. Was about to get into an argument. Well, she left the house with the kid, came to seek out a woman who she had beef with around the way. And then she walked up to the woman, told the kid to hold her purse, and then started fighting with the woman. The woman's boyfriend tries to get in between them, and then his woman is not having any of it, which I could dig. Listen, you came up and hit me while I was minding my own business. Now it's really on. So the girlfriend's not having any of it. These two are going at it. Next thing you know, you hear 2 shots. The 10-year-old had pulled the gun from her mother's purse and shot the woman twice, killing her. As she said, and the 10-year-old said, she shouldn't have hit my mama. So that's 41-year-old LaShawn Rogers. And this took place later on Memorial Day, by the way. And yeah, she's looking at charges as well as the kid is going to be charged. She's charged they charged the kid with 2nd-degree murder. Like, she looks like a real winner. This chick. But like, to not only take your kid out when you about to go fight your 10-year-old to see that, but also arming the 10-year-old.
Well,
the 10-year-old knew.
She stabbed somebody before, too.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to get her off the street. I'm sorry.
Yo, you ain't shit.
We got to get her off the street. I'm not saying throw her in jail, just off the street. All right? You know, of course, that means code word for lock them up. But she needs, There's a lot going on there. She stabbed somebody, P? I didn't read that.
Yeah.
That is insane. Yeah, speaking of kids with guns in their hands, you hear about the 2-year-old? A 2-year-old, the mother, and that's the picture of the mother that's next. This is in Florida too. These guns are just raining from everywhere. A Florida woman, she's charged with manslaughter, and this happened last Monday after her 2-year-old son found a gun in her home and accidentally shot his father in the back. 26-year-old Reggie Mabry, and he was playing a video game in their home in the Orlando home when one of the 3 kids managed to grab a Glock 19 and fired it, according to the arrest report. Marie Ayala, she's 28, and that's whose picture. That doesn't look like Marie Ayala. Marie Ayala, she's 28, and she is convicted. Get this, she's a felon that's not allowed to have guns. Like, so there's a whole lot. She's charged with manslaughter, culpable negligence, and possession of a firearm by a felon. She could face up to 15 years if convicted of manslaughter. The gun was not proper, says Sheriff John Mina of Orange County. The gun was not properly stored. In fact, it was easily accessible even to a 2-year-old, and the result is a tragedy. Oof. But actually, though, that leads us, Pete, into, now, what do you think of this? Like, there's some companies that are now starting to tout smart guns. Now, will it help with mass shootings? I doubt it. The genie's out of the bottle as far as that goes. But this could help with something like what we've heard in the past 2 stories. Smart guns, they would only be able to fire reading some biometric imprint or code from the owner. So if it wasn't the owner's on it, or you didn't chop off the owner's thumb and put it on there, then it's not supposed to fire in theory.
I mean, like, you see that in movies.
Right.
Right? And
right, James Bond.
Let me tell you something, man. Like, if you see it in the movie, 9 times out of 10, somebody's already working on it.
So it's already, yeah, how about it?
Somebody's already working on it, right? So, I think that's a good idea. For parents.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Safety in the house. You feel me? The kids grab the gun, shoot it, don't nothing happen. For children younger than, say, 16 to 15 that like to pick up things and test them out.
Right.
Now, we don't have to worry about them shooting themselves or other children in the house.
Right.
Or their parents. So, that's dope. I like that idea.
That's what's up. All right.
That idea.
Sure
if I could buy a gun, I would buy 4 of them.
There we go. Nice. I'm sure we talked about crime before, good crime, but man, this is something's up with it. I don't know. First, I'll tell you. All right. So, did you hear about this in Wilmington last Friday, P? Friday morning, 11:30 on North Maryland Avenue, 100 block of North Maryland Avenue in Wilmington. The suspect, disguised in a dark blue Garda uniform, which is the same armored car company which he's about to rob, he pulled out a gun and used a stun gun on one of the employees before disarming her. Then he hopped in the Garda vehicle and drove off. He drove the truck to the area of Mansion Road and Mary Street, where he removed an undisclosed amount of cash, abandoned the vehicle, and fled in an unknown direction. He carjacked an armored car. Well, I'm trying to figure out, is she by her? The way it sounded here, she's by herself. And isn't that not? That's not. I would imagine. I've never seen it. Actually, no.
People don't want to work no more.
They've got I've seen vans actually, like armored vans.
People don't want to work no more. Like, so a Garda, being a Garda security, might not be what they want to do. So
yeah, especially putting yourself in danger for other people's money.
And they still have to deliver it.
Yeah.
She ain't get shot.
How about that?
Garda's
a privately owned security and cash management property. Yeah.
He been watching that.
Yeah, he was sitting on that and waiting. And you got to give him shout outs because having a uniform on, he could approach. Right.
Hey, you okay?
Right. Yeah. He would make that approach less suspicious. Yeah. Oh man, did you hear about speaking of madness? Did you hear about this, Pete?
No. What you talking about?
June 2nd. Well, what happened? This from the Clutter Car, right? On a highway in Las Vegas, the Hells Angels, the notorious biker gang, they ambushed a rival Vagos biker gang on the highway. 7 people were wounded in this freeway shooting. Like, I remember when many moons ago when Daniel, what was his name? Little Joey Merlino and that crew, like they had a shootout on 76 during that Mafia Madness in the 80s. And there was another one since then. There was another shootout on 76 since then. But this made me think of that. But actually, Pete, when I Googled motorcycle gang shootouts, yeah, these guys get it in. It's happened a few times with these cats from Waco, Texas.
Outlaw, like at the end of the day. And
Woo,
it's outlaw.
doggy.
I've been watching that joint.
What,
Aztecs.
Okay.
On FX.
And is that like a Sons of Anarchy spinoff or something, or what?
Well, the Sons of Anarchy are like that's the Mexican.
Okay.
Like that's the Mexico, what they do over there. But yeah, that's crazy.
Oh,
that's crazy. And even they have to buy their guns from the Sons of Anarchy. You feel me? Like, so we got to have peace with them for right now. But it's about to go down.
Oh my goodness!
I got to catch up on it.
Oh, okay. Speaking of craziness, did you hear about? Listen, we've talked before about jealousy in relationships, but these next 2 stories, the females were doing their thing. Man, this is a Piedmont woman. This is 56-year-old Rhonda Young.
I got a truck.
She's both. Rhonda's that chick. She's 100% that bitch. Oh man, I missed the Lizzo joint. Why'd I miss that right over here? In block 1.
Come on, man, let's go.
Damn, I'm sorry, folks, because we'll do it next week.
Running your mouth.
Yep. How about it? Actually, so what Young did, she was driving her international commercial truck, and she took it into that mobile home that you see there. She got into an argument with her boyfriend and drove that truck, and it went into bobtail mode, which means it didn't have a trailer attached. The man was taken to the hospital with injuries, and 2 other people were in the home at the time of the crash, but they weren't injured. But she's charged with attempted murder. But I'm assuming she got the black eye. I'm assuming, when they say what came first, the egg or the chicken? I'm assuming that black eye, she got that black eye, and then that truck found its way into that motor home. Yeah, anti-domestic violence commercial right there. We talked before about those air tags and how they can be used as tracking devices. Oh man. So this dude in Indiana, right? He was suspected of cheating, Indianapolis. He's suspected of cheating by his girlfriend. She put them air tags on him and tracked him down to the club district in downtown Indianapolis. Confronted him and the chick, tried to hit the other chick. That argument got broke up. And then the boyfriend, 26-year-old Andre Smith, went out into the parking lot trying to leave, and that's when the unnamed woman ran Smith over. And then she ran Smith over. And then she ran Smith over. She ran him over multiple times. And yeah, Mr. Smith is gone. According to the probable cause affidavit, this is a homicide investigation. And yeah, witnesses said that the suspect then she grabbed an empty wine bottle, swung it at the woman. That's when he stepped in. He probably should have just let her whip that girl ass. He's still being. During the interview with police, the suspect admitted to hitting Smith with her car. And they don't name him. They don't name suspects until they're formally charged in Indianapolis. So, actually, I think, or I'll tell that story another time, P. I'll save you that. I'll save you that story. Don't you worry. Oh, so check it out. We talk about dating apps and whatnot. And actually, I think we did a story like 2 weeks ago about this similar thing. Well, it happened again in Tampa, Florida. A woman used a dating app, and when really it was just a robbery setup. My man, he was flashing money on social media, and that's when he got a hit from this woman, Tatiana Makeva Gaston, 23-year-old, and she showed up at his apartment, but she wasn't alone. She showed up with other people who forced their way into the apartment, and what wound up happening was the guy shot and killed her half-brother in self-defense. So she's actually charged with, because you know Florida's one of those states that say you're in commission of a crime and somebody dies, you can be charged with murder if it's connected, somehow. So her half-brother got shot and killed trying to rob this guy that they set up, and she is now facing the murder charge for that and her own half-brother's death when she didn't pull the trigger. Ain't that something? Pete, you hear? Man, boxing's dangerous. Did you see about this this poor fella? This is South African boxer Sisavale Matungwa, and he passed away recently. He was fighting last week, and when all of a sudden he's facing his opponent, and according to the reports, he didn't take any heavy shots in this fight. It wasn't like he got clocked or knocked down or anything, but at some point, he stopped swinging on his opponent, turns around, and goes to the corner, pretty much at the corner post, like, giving it the scrappy do. I'll murderize you. And the ref saw that and called the fight. Technical knockout. Well, then next thing you know, Matungwa was taken to the hospital where he was put in an induced coma for a brain bleed. And then he wound up passing away. Man, this makes me glad for my one cousin. He was a pro boxer, and I was like, man, he's good. But when I see stories like that, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad he retired. I'm glad he's out of that. That's a brutal sport.
It is.
You remember we talked about Christopher, what's my man's name? Chris Brown? We talked about Chris Brown, and he had a capuchin monkey, right? Well, the cat that he bought this monkey from, this guy was known as the Monkey Whisperer. And he just got sentenced for trafficking protected primates. So no. I'm looking at I gotta keep this. I'm looking at two spots. That's the Special Olympic team for Haiti. Well, that's a Special Olympic delegation for Haiti. Only one of those guys is Special Olympic participant. So they disappeared at the Special Olympics. Did you hear about this, Pete?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they disappeared. They checked out of their hotel, but left all their belongings. So, and this was in Port-au-Prince? No, they're from Port-au-Prince, and this is in, where was this at? Sugar, honey. Oh, this is in Florida. So what do you think?
Excuse me?
What do you think? I don't know. I can't gather what this might be. Like, at first I was like, are they defecting? But then Haiti's not that kind of country where you defect from, per se, right?
Huh?
I mean, you would.
What?
I mean, it's
what?
You would, I would just be like, yeah,
so it is. What are you talking about?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm saying, like, all right, so, like, if they were, I could see, like, all right, growing up in the Cold War, right? Russians here, or even nowadays, North Koreans here. Screw it, I'm going to try and disappear, and I'm out, I'm defecting, I ain't going back there.
Think life is better in Haiti than it is on the run here in America?
Yeah, that's what, so it is, okay, that's what I was thinking. Like, they said, screw it, I ain't going. Yeah.
I'm not going back.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not going back. I can wash dishes and
right.
If I have some kids, they're good. Right, don't worry about me. I'll be straight.
Right.
You feel me? Like all 6 of them. What you think they got kidnapped?
Right. And that's what. But at first, when I first read it and said, and
you think they in the drug trade?
Well,
or the sex
trade?
trade?
The report at first, the headline said Haitian Special Olympic team missing. And I was like, wait a second.
Oh, so
somebody kidnapped a bunch of special needs people from Haiti? Like, so then I'm like, it's a delegation. Because then I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, maybe one, but that's about it.
Which one?
Bottom left. Yeah.
Petite free?
Yeah. Out of the 6. That's what I'm giving the award to.
We'll give it to Nicholson.
You giving it to Fontus? Yeah,
right,
He would have been number 2. He would have been runner up.
You ain't shit.
So yeah, man.
Yeah,
How about that? Okay.
What are they in the Special Olympics for?
Right, they were a delegation. They were probably to get out of the States.
It probably you could have a fake leg.
Right. But since 6 of them are supposedly delegates, I'm sure they all, I'll sign up for that. Y'all leaving? Y'all going to where? Florida? Yeah. Oh, sign me up. Yeah.
I've been working for
back. Right. They've been planning this.
We ain't coming back. Listen,
I got an auntie in Florida.
Listen, when we get to Florida, we will sign out of the hotel room. No one will be watching us, and we will disappear. Mm-hmm. You go to Montana, you go somewhere else, you go to Cali. Listen, they can go there and they can survive because there's so much opportunity here
compared to there. Especially after
another
earthquake,
dirt pies, and you feel me? The president gets assassinated. You feel me? Life over there is crazy, and Haiti is still paying France for freedom. And no one's holding France accountable for all the money they have taken from Haiti, all the resources that are taken from Haiti. Why? Because it's a black country. Again, wherever there are black faces, there are oppressors there, right? Whether they're free or not. You feel me? There are people that are holding them back.
Coming in the cash.
And we as black people should care about every black nation. You feel me? So we can bring everybody together and we can stop being divided. But that's just my wishful thinking.
But you know what? That's funny because Elizabeth.
Yeah,
Isabel Wilkerson did mention that too. How there's so little to have there, and you're still taking it. Like, don't you have any decency?
No decency because you beat us. Like literally,
right. How petty?
You killed, but y'all brought us here. Y'all killed how many before we stood up to y'all? You feel me? Before we fought back. Like these are the problems that we have in our society, right? We're so bitter against each other because we don't have anyone else we could put our foot on their neck but each other. You know what I mean? Hurt your brother, hurt your sister.
Right.
You feel me? We were taught that, bro. So love isn't something that's given out, right? And people accept it. Sad.
So, Pete, we talked about church earlier, right?
You talking about the Capuchin monkey. All right, let's go. He got locked up.
Yeah, Mr. The Monkey Whisperer. Yeah, that was him.
We talking about church.
We got another story of monkeys later on. Pastor John Lowe of New Life Christian Church in Warsaw, Indiana. He stood in front of his church a couple of weeks ago, Pete. And he proceeded to reveal that he was stepping down. He also proceeded to reveal that he was cheating on his wife with another person many years ago. So he was stepping down due to infidelity. But then that's when the woman who was in attendance stood up and proceeded to take Lowe to task because she was 16 years old at the time.
So? She should have said something at the time.
It ain't right.
It ain't right.
She ain't 16 no more. How old is she
and
now?
Actually, though, that's the thing. That's the legal age of consent.
Right.
In Indiana. So it is same thing here. I got a funnier story about why I know that. No.
I don't want to know it.
That ain't right. It ain't right.
Like, if it's not right, it's not right the moment it happens.
Right.
You cannot go back 10 years later. You're 26 now and say, oh, he took advantage of me.
Well, the affair went on for 9 years.
Yeah.
And she pleaded with him to tell the truth. So once the woman and her they had stepped up on the stage to reveal this. And so that's when people in the audience began to shout at the preacher. And then he ultimately fessed up saying who the woman was. And then he admitted that she was only 16 when the affair started. And yeah, can you imagine? You said you ain't been to church in years, right? What if you was with your grandmother and you was sitting there at a service like that? You'd be like, man, this church popping. I'm coming next week.
No.
I'm getting bringing my bag of popcorn up in here.
No?
I would.
Then you in church for the wrong reason. Right? Whatever religion you're in for guidance. That's not good guidance.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's terrible. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Use your
whatever.
position of power to
Do what?
To take advantage of this kid.
This kid knew she was taking advantage of the first time. She should have came forward then.
Damn. That's a victim blaming shit right there. Holy
That's not victim blaming. She allowed it to go on for 9 years.
She allowed it. Like what?
She was she
Mind
not
you,
a part of it?
They're in Indiana, P. Have you?
Oh my God, they're not in a foreign country. They're in America,
They're
bro.
in Indiana. It's a
no,
different country out
it's
there.
It's not
man.
in Indiana.
Yeah, man. Listen. We went out there to see it.
What other country have you been to?
We went to
what
other country?
have you been
Jamaica.
To? Jamaica, right?
All right. So
did you go into the
neighborhoods? Yeah. But I'm sure they were marrying girls younger than that.
Stop.
Yeah.
Did you go into the neighborhoods?
Yeah.
Did you see how bad it was?
Oh yeah.
Can you say it's that bad in Indiana?
No.
Then it's not a different world. It's America, bro.
All right. Well, it's a different world. It's like like you're a different country. No, but it's a different world over there. I mean, shoot, two parts of you look at Western and Eastern Pennsylvania, it's like two different countries to me. But in Indiana, so I think that she would have had an uphill battle as far as her credibility, especially questioning a long time pastor. But that's just me.
Her sitting there crying and saying he did it? Her sitting there crying and saying that he did it?
Well, she's she confronted it. I mean, look at how long she was dealing with that and then finally revealed it to
She dealt with him for 9 years.
She dealt with as an affair.
So till she was 25.
Okay.
Right? And then she moved on and she has a husband, correct?
Okay, yes.
She told her husband about it.
Right. Oh,
told nobody else about it.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, didn't tell her parents.
Up until recently.
Didn't tell her friends. You understand what I'm saying? Like, nobody else knew about this but her husband. Right?
Okay.
So she felt bad for it. She knew she was wrong, but if she's in church, she truly felt that she was wrong, right? So say something when it first happened. Because if you don't adopt these feelings 9 years later, you knew it was wrong when it was happening.
All right. Oh, good thing he's got a call. So, speaking of women's rights, so we're just gonna skip ahead real quick because we're short on time. Did you hear about ISIS? ISIS has an all-female battalion. A U.S. woman, she recently pled guilty to it. Allison Fluke Ekron, a 42-year-old, she admitted to the U.S. Department of Justice U.S. Justice Department that she taught women how to use AK-47s and explosive devices. Over 100 women and young girls, including as young as 10 or 11 years old, received military training from Fluke in Syria on behalf of ISIS. Well, ISIS has an all-female battalion, huh? And that, look at them being all progressive, huh? Look at that. No, seriously though, like I've always had a problem with that. Before you go all righteous on me, P, I've always had a problem with how these terrorist organizations, whether it's ISIS, what's the one in Palestine, the PLO, like I've seen, where they use kids like as young as 10 or 11 years old. And that's you're using your own future, the future of your people, like as little armed soldiers to like sacrifices, essentially. Pete, you hear about Herschel Walker? Herschel Walker's running for state. He's running for the Georgia Senate. Okay. Right? Oh, man. I'm sorry, but he is, like, with he released a book a while back. And within it, he was very upfront about his struggles, his mental health struggles, right? But whoa, he is what you would call
Abel, and that's the problem that we have.
Opposition research, those people that look up stuff for dirt on your candidate or dirt on your opponent. He's an opposition researcher's dream. I had a video somewhere. I gotta put it up on the. That reminds me, I need your help with how to post stuff on the CMP Facebook page. But there is a top 10 list of Herschel Walker fumbles. Yo, Herschel's a little dangerous, man. Like, if I was I can't wait to see his debates and whatnot. Here's a quick video of him offering his advice on what we can do about gun violence.
Cain killed Abel, and that's the problem that we have. And I said, what we need to do is look into how we can stop those things. He talked about doing a disinformation. What about getting a department that can look at young men that's looking at women that's looking at just social media? What about doing that, looking into things like that, and we can stop that way? But yet they want to just continue to talk about taking away your constitutional rights. And I think there's more things we need to look into. This has been happening for years, and the way we stop it by putting money into the mental health field, by putting money into other departments rather than departments that want to take away your rights.
We need to look at the young boys, looking at the girls, looking at the what? I don't get what his debates. If they were going to be must see TV. But you know what? Looking at this picture and then looking at that video, I'm like, ooh, Herschel's had work done. He probably did that before he launched his campaign. Great running back, probably would be a piss poor politician. Pete, Kennywood Park, it's in Western Pennsylvania, and this Aero 360 ride. I like roller coasters. Even though I'm scared of heights, I enjoy roller coasters. Something like this would take me off of my enjoyment of roller coasters. Riders were stuck upside down for 30 minutes. 3 guests had to visit the first aid center as a precaution, but they were all right. But yeah.
I got horses and shit.
Horses? Horses? Oh, I should have had riders stuck upside. All right, anyway. Horses, that's Darren the horse. Did you hear about him? Darren was abandoned. He was found abandoned in Philly last week. He was a stray horse. Made me think, now that's a cow, P.
I don't know what it is.
That's a cow. He's being wrangled. That's a cow in Oklahoma. He got out on the highway. Damn it, I'm so mad I don't have. He got out on the highway in Oklahoma, and he had to have 2. He wound up getting wrangled by 2 cowboys who had to bring him down.
Right, and then here's the horse.
And then Darren the horse, yeah, he has a new home. He's up in Bucks County. It was sad, man. Look at him. It's like a before and after shot there. Because he was all emaciated and what have you.
Emaciated?
Yeah. Did I say emaciated? He was freed, yeah. But, Darian's doing well. They're working on a home for him. He's temporarily living at a Bucks County ranch and up in Quakertown. So he was discovered wandering the Hunting Park neighborhood in May. So remember that. This is probably...
Yeah. You about to do it, ain't you?
No, I don't want to say it. Yeah, I don't want to say it.
You're about to do it. You're about to do it. Go ahead.
All right, no, let's keep going.
Go ahead. You about to do it. Go ahead, do it. Go ahead.
I ain't saying it. I'm going to keep it moving.
Why you a chicken shit?
Oh,
Don't
no.
be a chicken shit now.
Shit. Remember, I don't talk it in the hood, right?
Right. So say it. Say it.
No. We hear about this one. Oh, man, we talked before about people getting too close to animals.
Stay away from buffaloes.
Yeah, please.
Like I don't want to see a buffalo. There's nothing that's going to interest me about animals. Nothing. Like people that go to parks and look at bears and lions and all, I don't want to see them motherfuckers.
This woman got tossed. They are fast, dude. They've got 4 legs. I mean, so that implies right there they'll be able to go faster than you. And that's too close. So, of course, the woman got gored by a bison in Yellowstone Park. She got tossed 10 feet.
Bisons, horses, all that. I'm not doing none of that shit. Zebras, lions, giraffes, none of that shit. Jurassic Park, none of that shit. You hardly ever see a black person in Jurassic Park.
He don't last long. Shout out to Samuel L.
Hardly ever. Like, what the hell am I doing here with these things been going?
Oh, right.
Going for a reason. I'm going to just bring them back.
Oh, well, we speak about getting too close to animals. Go ahead and roll this video, Pete. This happened. I got this video recently. This looks like it was in a zoo in, could have been India or Bangladesh or something. Get your ass.
That's fucked up.
I don't know. You don't even have to know what language he's speaking to know. Okay, that's whatever that language is for help. Because he is screaming. Well, he shouldn't have got. You could see it for a brief second, like he's just outside. He has his hands out, like he's trying to play. What's that game that you used to play? Like he's trying to play that with the damn orangutan. Right. Sir, that thing is at least seven times stronger than you, and it's got 4 hands. Okay,
it's got 2 hands and 2 feet. Right?
No, that thing is
Just
like a
because
hand
the
in
foot
itself.
the foot has thumb fingers, has thumbs on it.
He's got 4 hands as far as I'm concerned. He can rip you into pieces.
He really can. He really can. But that's what happens when you go
right.
When you fuck with animals. The only
Mr.
animals I
Dumbass,
fuck with
I
are
can bring
cats.
a lot to dumbass and dumbass. I'm a go-getter.
Listen, cats, dogs, and birds.
Right.
That's it. Anything other than that, I'm not fooling with no lion or no bear or no zebra. I'm not fooling with
Got
none
plenty of people with pet
ostriches.
raccoons. Yeah.
Going to an ostrich farm and rolling my window down so it can. No, I'm riding past as fast as I seen it. There it is. Look to the left.
Oh my
I'm not
goodness.
doing none of that. Then they want to kill the animal. Absolutely.
What kills me is how I think the orangutan was just messing with it. It still just looked like get your ass over here, you stupid ass human. Because like he's trying to, and then the dude comes over to cry and kick the hand off. He takes the other, get out of here.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I'm tired of playing with you.
Right, then he hugs his legs real quick.
Right.
Like,
bear hugging him up against the metal, bro. He like, man, listen. I barely fool with cats.
Right,
True. I don't fool with cats either, but you will not get me fooling with animals outside of the people I deal with on a daily basis.
Oh my goodness.
I'm good.
Oh
I'm good,
man.
Honestly.
Oh shoot. No, it's going crazy. Oh, don't do that to me. Actually, cause funny, P, we got next. What do we got now? Oh, see opportunity and rise.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this?
Okay.
It's a women's group, young black business women, and they had their first summit, the first installment, See Opportunity and Rise conference at the Lowe's Hotel in Philly this last week.
Okay.
So, so I figured that's something uplifting. There's some positive news, because like we talked about, business minded. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are on that, right?
Yeah.
And that's dope. So, just keep pushing. Keep pushing.
Exactly.
It's
Like
gonna get
you
hard.
said, right, it's going to be hard because I'm
Gonna get
sure it's
hard.
your first
It's gonna
one.
get
I'm sure the
frustrating.
attendance was probably frustrating or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, mostly I'm hoping that it's run by Philly native Crystal Bailey, by the way. She was the host of the conference. So yeah, and by the way, it's for See Opportunity and Rise, SOAR. SOAR. No? All right, here you go. So that brings us Oh wait. Listen to this. So we talked before about P's Weekly Hero, right? Remember, I got this intro all set for you, right? Son of a bitch, my program crashed. And so remember our first time we did P's Weekly Hero, what gave me the inspiration for P's Weekly Hero was a 10-year-old that took his dad's car.
Yeah. My God. Drove to the store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this kid, and P, because you said he didn't crash. Well, this kid, this 7-year-old, go ahead and roll this video.
Well, Trisha Robb, that joyride ended on Roosevelt Boulevard, which is here behind me. That mom tells me she was shocked when she woke up to learn what happened. That little kid, I got to talk to him. He said he had an errand to run. Watch the left side of your screen. That's 7-year-old Daniel Wittenbach. He's about to take a joyride in his mom's car. He jumps in, starts the car, cranks up the music, and takes off. Watch as he turns out of his neighborhood and onto Roosevelt Boulevard, driving into oncoming traffic. He has a couple close calls. You can see a car had to swerve out of his way. He doesn't make it far before others realize a kid is behind the wheel. They all jump in to help, trying to break the glass and stop him.
What? I can't hear you. I can't.
And you can see the turn.
Stop! It's my mom's car!
This all happened Thursday in Middletown.
little
The
bastard,
boy
what are you
was not
talking
hurt
about?
and was
That's
returned
exactly
to
what
his
you should have been
parents.
thinking.
I got a chance to ask him where he was going.
I tried to go to the gas station. Like, I went this way.
He just said, that's the thing that really pissed me off
Daniel's
about
mom
this
said
kid.
yesterday
'Cause he
morning at
just sitting there talking to
7:30,
this-
three
yeah,
cops
yeah,
knocked on her door to tell her what happened.
Like
Yeah,
how,
he's
where.
He's so lax about it.
They were like,
No
well, your car's
repercussions
over,
for
so
him
he
whatsoever.
hit a
Oh
car
my
in
God,
traffic,
it pisses me off. I used to
hit
get my
a
ass
guardrail,
way
hit
better.
car head on, and I was like,
Oh
what?
my goodness. So that
I'm
there's
like, my
going to
keys
come a
are, and
time
when
when
I
he's
looked
going to
up,
pull
they were gone.
some crap.
Whitbox says she thought her son was in his room sleeping.
He's going to be
She
feeling
says she
totally
keeps
entitled
her
to
keys
do
on a
it too.
hook on the wall out of the reach of children.
Oh my goodness!
But added
So
that
Pete,
Daniel
actually
is a
with
climber.
that though, so
I
he
did
definitely
hit
would
a
not have
tree,
been a nominee for
but
Fake News.
like I hit the wall
right.
accidentally.
But here we go.
But the thing was fine. And then, like,
Once
when
a
I went
week,
past the
a
truck,
person
I
steps
just got hit
forward
by a
to be
gun.
more than a
Whitbox
person.
says while
to be
some
an
are judging
example
her, others are
being.
showing support.
A lot of people have come forward saying I'm not the only person that this has happened to. And then they will tell us that might be their stories of their kids doing it, or they done it when they were a kid.
The man whose Jeep Daniel hit head-on says he doesn't have any hard feelings about the crash.
Eventually, the van I would like for them to have insurance so I could get it fixed. It's not going to be fixed if they don't have insurance. No.
The officer then pulled his car in front of the van and blocked it. The officer then placed the 10-year-old in the back seat of the car. That's when the 10-year-old boy told the officer his dad wanted him to have cereal before going to school in the morning, so his dad sent the boy to buy Cheerios at the store. He did. However, the officer took the boy home. The officer found the boy's parents had been asleep. The boy then admitted he had just left home without his parents' knowledge to go to the store. 10 years old. 10 years old. By himself at 8:30. Driving. That's my hero. And he didn't crash.
It's time to find out who gets their cape and shades and takes to the sky as News Weekly Hero.
All right, P. So what we got here is I got 4 nominees. All right, and so actually this is the front runner. This in May 28th, what we got here is Dennis Butler. Dennis Butler was in West Virginia, and he opened fire on a party. That's when an unidentified woman stepped out of the crowd with her heater and let him have it. Blocker. And there was no more Dennis Butler after that. And so that's your first nominee. Oh, by the way, Dennis was opening fire on this party with an AR-15.
So who's the nominee? The woman?
The woman, yeah.
What's her name?
They didn't identify her. They just identified Butler. So what are we gonna call her? The Equalizer?
Yeah, pretty much.
There we go. Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right, and next up, P. All right, so the Equalizer is one. Then we got a 2-time. This woman, a Virginia woman, recently won the lottery twice.
Ooh.
At the same damn place.
Damn.
Right. Columbia, Virginia woman, $250,000 back in 2020, and then she recently won another $200,000 jackpot. Lucinda Britt, by the way. And so she's going to...
How you putting her name out there?
Oh,
Are you going to put her name out there?
Right, to pay for
You some shit, bro.
That's why I didn't... You know what? And it's funny because my man that came back from the Philly native, like when I saw him on ABC, 6 ABC, they gave him his prize winnings on 6 ABC. I'm like, y'all just setting this man up for a home invasion.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. That's why when you hit, you got to get a lawyer.
Get
Make
gone.
Sure, before you listen, look, I hit the lottery. When I make this announcement and they put my picture, I want to be out of here.
Yes.
So I'm going to need you to give me some plane tickets, you feel me? Or just relocate me to another state because I'm not staying around here to deal with this shit. Because these motherfuckers, they coming.
They coming. They both show. Oh, and if nothing, I'm worried about my family too. One of them going to get kidnapped.
They got to go. They got to go. Everybody got to go. Come on. All 7 kids, all 4 baby mamas.
Right.
Let's go. If you want to stay, you're staying here without my protection. Understand that. So when they grab you and they get to talking about they got you, I can say, I don't give a fuck. But you ain't want to leave when I told you to leave.
Neither does she, because she ain't come with me.
She ain't come with me. So you got her. Have fun.
So we got the Equalizer, Lucinda Britt. Right. Next up, we got the Healthy Newsworks.
Okay.
And come to find out, they're pretty much teaching kids. It's called Healthy Newsworks program. And it sought to address health issues and childhood reading problems by transforming students into young reporters.
Absolutely.
So this is just, whoever's running this, I'm like, because there was times in high school, like when I first got to, when I really started to see the difference between how it goes down here and how it goes other places. I got to my junior high school, and they had pretty much a news network. Like the students would broadcast, do a little report in the morning.
Right.
and it would be broadcast to each classroom. And I was like, what the?
Well,
So-
we're doing that with Chester,
Well, we are doing
Chester
that, yeah,
Community
okay.
Charter School. We'll be doing that this year.
Okay,
Which
sweet.
is awesome. This is awesome.
Sweet. So Healthy Newsworks is taught students. So that's your third nominee for P. And then we've got 3 teenage siblings, and my vote is for them because they're fellow West Philadelphians. But my mother's talking about that story with old boy.
Right.
I wouldn't be alive, man. When the cops had showed up, I'd have been like, with you.
Get your ass up.
It's safer with y'all than it is with her.
Oh, is she abusing you? You better say no.
No,
she's not abusing me. It's just rough.
Oh man,
I just want to go get some ice cream.
So Sandra Fauntleroy and her siblings, they've been in the Sandra. She's 17. She's a tutor for the Free Library of Philadelphia's Literacy and Enrichment After School Program, otherwise known as LEAP. And LEAP has been in the works for 30 years in this Philly area. And she was at the, oh my God, that's so awesome. She was at the Overbrook Park branch. I used to literally tutor a kid right there at the Overbrook Park. Anyway, the Fauntleroy teens are all students at Agora Cyber Charter School, which is based in PA. And in cyber education, the zip codes does not dictate your education, said the director. But the Fauntleroys, also her brother Tyler, they said they're glad to give their time. And some of the students happen to be neighbors with one another, which deepens the relationship between the tutor and tutee. And I think that's, yeah. So, yeah, that's awesome. So those are your 4 nominees, P. All right, so we got The Equalizer. We got The Equalizer. We got Lucinda Britt, the 2-time lottery winner. Healthy Newsworks, and the West Philadelphia Fauntleroys that tutor.
All right, we're gonna go number 1. That's gonna be Healthy Newsworks because I feel like now, even though the Fauntleroys are doing an excellent job, right, in everything that they're doing, and they're in West Philly, I feel like this Healthy Newsworks is a lot like what we're trying to do with Chester Community Charter School, right? Again, the students. The students are the main focal point of any school, right? And how they feel and what they're dealing with is important to the teachers. It should be important to the administration. So, giving the kids time to talk, letting them talk about the morning announcements, let them talk about whatever news is important to them. We will uncover all of those things, right, and give them their just due. Number 2 is going to be the Fauntleroys with their books and reading, tutoring, helping children understand how important it is to get an education. You know, my father imposed on me the importance of reading, and so we're starting a book club.
Nice.
Right. The brothers are coming together. We're starting a book club. We're going to meet every Tuesday.
For real?
Yeah.
Can I join?
No, you're not allowed.
You know what's coming.
You're not. No, yeah, absolutely. I want you to join. Again, reading the same book, discussing the book,
right?
Talking about the book, right? And
exchanging
then other
thoughts and
exchanging
ideas.
thoughts and ideas. That's what powerful people do. You feel me? And we feel as though we're powerful enough to do this. So we're starting a book club. Got to sit down with the guys and see when we can get started. And we read this book and we make sure everybody can afford the book. You feel me? And we make sure it's an affordable book. It's an accessible book.
Right.
You feel me? And we read it, right? Or like you like to do, listen to it. You feel me? And we do it chapter by chapter. We're not rushing through a book. We're given, if we're meeting every week, every Tuesday for an hour, you feel me? Every Wednesday, whatever time we're meeting, and we're reading the first chapter, the first 2 chapters of a book, and we're discussing the first 2 chapters of the book. We're giving time.
Right.
For the book to
take
settle
it all in, marinate.
Yes, absolutely,
yeah,
and talk
right
about it, man. Like, so, we have to, again, believe that we can be whatever we want to be. You feel me? We have to dream. We have to dream the impossible dream. You feel me? And it starts with the black men. The women, listen, I salute all the women, right, throughout the world, but especially in Chester. Y'all have held it down for way too long, right? And it's time for the men to step up and help y'all, right? But we also have to be accepted to help. You know what I mean? So, we got to get this done. So we're starting a book club, and we're going to get this shit done.
All right. right, that's what. And
Right. So that's number 2.
And I'll hold out for my invitation.
Number 3 is going to be the babe that shot the gunman.
Oh yeah, the unidentified.
Because there should never be a time where you don't use your gun when someone else is using theirs. You feel me? Right. So if he's shooting, you shoot back. That's how that's how it should work all the time. And then we'll leave it to the lady that hit the lottery, because she don't need to be nobody's hero. She done hit the lottery already, so she good twice. Shit,
and at the same place. She didn't even have to change it up or nothing.
I mean, like, so these are the things that we're doing, and yeah, she's. I wish she was my girlfriend.
Right.
I'll take a quick 1,000, 2,000, maybe 4,000. Right, but I appreciate it. But yeah, this week's weekly hero, P's weekly hero, is the Healthy
Newsworks.
Healthy Newsworks, man.
That's awesome.
Everything that we'll be doing at Chester Community Charter School.
Oh, yeah, how about that? Keep posted for that. I'm looking forward to that, because you'll see the confidence in kids' eyes, because it started as a program to help them learn to read. And once kids start reading in front of their classmates, they get so much. You can see it in their body language when it changes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. So that on that positive note, we always love to end on a high note, and that's where we're going to end this week's run of the D Train with Darren DeVoue on CMPRadio.net. Ran a little long. Apologies to my man Warren Leader, who's waiting to go on deck. Apologies now, but with that, so don't forget, if you miss any of CMPRadio.net's content, go to the Facebook or YouTube page. We'll see you next week with Run of the D Train with Darren DeVoue on CMPRadio.net. We're going to clean some more of the clutter car and have, of course, more P's Weekly Hero and much, much more. Oh, and again, have a peaceful, productive, positive week, folks, and we'll see you next week.
We're talking about the heroic work of 2 men. We're going after your train.
The train can be run all night long. The train can be run all night long.